distressed, I cried unto the I Am, and he heard me. Deliver my soul, O Yahuwah, from lying lips, and from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given unto thee, or what shall be done unto thee, thou false tongue? Sharp arrows of the mighty with coals of juniper. Woe is me that I sojourn in Mesech, that I dwelt in the tents of Kedar. My soul hath long dwelt with him that hateth peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. Psalms chapter 120. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hallelujah. We give God the praise and we give him the glory. For all glory belongeth unto the Most High, even from our waking up to our laying down, to the food we eat, to the way the world is revolving, and even as the earth renders its rewards for our sowing. We thank God even for you, and you. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you who are just subscribed, even those of you who are thinking about subscribing, and those of you who are just incognito, checking it out. Yes, we thank God for you too, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we're still in the book of First Chronicles, not Second Chronicles. I don't want to get that wrong. First Chronicles. As the world turns, yes, as the world turns, we see God's plan materializing. We're coming from a past time. We're coming from a time of past tense. Close this door. We're coming from a past time. And we're getting into a time, adjusting different things, but anyway, we're getting to a time where we're about to come into where we are in today. We're still in eternity that has no past, present, or future, but time itself, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, even the rising of the moon to the going down of the same. We thank God, for his name is worthy to be praised. Yes. Now in First Chronicles, we're still in the organization of the temple service. In other words, the king, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Tata Nzambi, Sinini Nanini. Those languages I know of what the name means. The Heya, the Ya Allah. Yes, I know what that means. Now, or else I wouldn't say them. But either way, First Chronicles chapter 26. We're in still the Chronicles of King David. King David is getting everything written out. He's getting the order set, where the Levites know their place and what they should do in this new temple. David already knows the layout that the temple shall have. Yes, he knows these things. God is sure, but he cannot lay one stone upon another while he yet lived. No, he cannot. And therefore we are in First Chronicles chapter 26. Concerning the division of porters of the Kohathites was Meshelema, Miai, and the sons of Korah, the sons of Asaph. These are the music makers. These are the ones that really make it happen. I mean, I don't know what kind of music they played, and I can't accept that part where they was sounding like your ancient European operatic things, whatever. That's their thing. But either way, whether you sound churchy or whether you sound like a rapper or whether you sound like an R&B singer, God's name, it's the words that come from your heart. The words that come from your heart. Some people mimic feelings, but there are those who actually are singing from their hearts to the beloved, even the Most High, our Creator, even the I Am that I Am. Yes, singing pouring out, as David did in the Psalms that he written down, and some of the Psalms of Asaph and of the other psalmists or songwriters, we'll put it that way. So concerning the vision of the porters of the Kohathites was Mishilima, the son of Kor, and the sons of Asaph. And the sons of Mishilimiah were Zechariah the firstborn, Jediael the second, Zebediah the third, Jathniel the fourth, Elam the fifth, and Jehohanan the sixth, and Eloenai the seventh. Moreover, the sons of Obed-Edom were Shemaiah, firstborn, Jehosabad the second, Joah the third, Sakar the fourth, and Nathaniel the fifth, Amiel the sixth, Issachar the seventh. These are about the same names that we've heard in the previous chapters. But Peuthai the eighth, for God blessed him. Yes, and Shemaiah the sons were born, and ruled throughout the house of their fathers. These are Levites, for they were mighty men of valor. The sons of Shemaiah, Othni, and Raphael, and Elazabad, whose brethren were strong men, Elihu and Shemachshiah. And these are the sons of Obed-Edom, and they were sons and their brethren able men of strength for the service, were 62 of Obed-Edom. 60, that was 62. And Mishilimiah, the sons and brethren, strong men, 18. Also Hosa, the children of Merari, had sons, Shimri, and the chief, for though he was not the firstborn, yet his father made him chief. Yes, it doesn't matter. Whoever qualifies by whatever attributes they display is why this young man was chosen. Hilkiah the second, Telabiah the third, Zechariah the fourth, and all the sons and brethren of Hosa were 13. And among these were divisions of porters. These are doorkeepers, even among the chief men having wards one against another to minister in the house of the I Am. And they cast lots as well as small as the great, according to the house of their father, for every gate. This is an historical account of the order of the Levites in the temple Solomon is about to build. David is he's orchestrating this. We say David, but the fact is he's depending on the input and the suggestion of those that know. This is what you call management. When you talk about presidents and leaders, you're talking about one who's able to manage. It's really the people that are doing what they do, but they are experts at what they do, but they inform the leader of what is being done or what can be done in this area. Yes, you have to realize this but the leader all comes under his name, the king, the president, what should I say, the PM, prime minister, whoever is in ultimate leadership of that country, city, or province. It all comes under him, but either way, his name is going to go forth, whether it's bad or good, because of what? Those of his administration, those of his people that are responsible for those things. And they are really experts or one who is knowledgeable in those things. And the lot eastward fell to Shelemiah, and for Zechariah his sons a wise counsel. They cast lots, and this lot came out northward. So northward of the temple. Obed-Edom southward, and his sons, the sons of Asapim, okay, southward. Suppim and Hosah, the lot came forth westward with the gates of Shalekti by the causeway and the going upward against the ward. Eastward were 6 Levites, northward for a day, southward for a day, and Asapim 2 and 2. The watches. And Parbar westward, and 4 at the causeway, and 2 at Parbar. These are the divisions of the porters. They kept the doors of the temple. This is what they among the sons of Korah, and among the sons of Merari. And of the Levites, Ahijah were over the treasures of the house of God. These were this was a very trusted genealogy. And over the treasures of the dedicated things, the things King David have won in war to be presented or melted down to form those things that should go into the temple that Solomon should build. As concerning the sons of Ladan, the sons of Gershonite, Ladan, chief fathers, even Ladan the Gershonite, were Jehieli. Ooh, that's a hard one. But either way, the J would not be there. And the sons of Eli was Zetham and Joel, his brother, which were over the treasures of the house of the I Am. Now, I'm sure a person of another dialect or another, pretty good in linguistics could pronounce these words very good, or English, but that J would not be there. Ehili, something like that. And Jetham and Joel, his brother, which were over the treasures of the house of the I Am. And of the Aramites, and the Israelites, and the Hebronites, and the Azelites, and Shubal, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, was ruler of the treasures. And his brothers by Eleazar and Wilbiah, and his sons Jesiah, and his sons, and Joram his sons, and Zichri his sons, and Shelomith his son, which Shelomith and his brethren of all the treasures of the dedicated things which David the king and the chief fathers of the captains over thousands and hundreds and captains of hosts had dedicated. Now these the order of the temple. This is how it's going to go. They don't run no Catholic church or no regular Protestant church like this. How can you replace the Most High and what he had told? Matter of fact, who is the church to replace Israel anyway? The order of the sons of Jacob. You got something. I wonder. But out of the spoils won in battle did they dedicate to maintain the house of the I Am, as we have said. Now all that Samuel the seer, and Saul the son of Kish, and Abner the son of Ner, and Joab the son of Zeruiah had dedicated, and whosoever had dedicated anything, it was under the hand of Shelomith and his brethren. Yes, these things were dedicated. They were going to be put into the house of the Most High because they were historical. In other words, this place was somewhat of a museum. Now, of the Isharites and Chenaniah and his sons were for the outward business over Israel, for officers and judges. And of the Hebronites and the Hashabiah, his son, men of valor, and 1,700 were officers among them of Israel on the side of Jordan westward, in all the business of the I Am, and in service of the king. This is order is happening. This is order for the permanent place. See, they had the traveling temple. Israel was also in travel before. Now, at the time of King David, at the end of his times, he establishes all these things to be the norm in Israel. Now, among the Hebronites was Jeriah. That would be Yah. That would be a Y instead of a J. The chief, even among the Hebronites, according to the generations of his father, in the 40th year of the reign of David, and they were sought for, and they were found among the mighty men of valor at Jazer of Gilead. And his brethren, men of valor, were 2,700 chief fathers, whom David had made ruler over the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half-tribe of Manasseh, for every matter pertaining to God and affairs of the king. Now he's not only has he King David began to organize those things which God had shown him for the Levites, and that was handed down from Moses on how they should conduct themselves in the temple, he also showed where he had his law enforcement. Now this government, this is a government. We're not talking about religion. We're talking about a government that was headed by who? Even the creator of all things. Some of you listen on the different social media platforms how that some question God. Who is God to say this, and how did God lie? I was witnessing some woman saying how God lied when he said to Adam, thou shalt surely die. I'm looking at this woman saying to myself, this fool. She never read if she understood or even read what had happened in that time in the book of Enoch. See, this is confusion that was set upon you because of Deuteronomy chapter 28. The confusion, even the New Testament, it does not belong with the Torah. The New Testament should always be a separate book because it is not of that type of thing. See, the heathen put it like that. The New Testament is a different entity. In other words, it's like the other heretical books. Yes, it's a heresy. Now, it should be separate. It should not be in the same binding as the Torah. You can buy the Torah by itself. Yes, the Ashkenazis, they made sure they had the Torah by itself. And that would be sufficient, really. Although it's not conclusive, it is sufficient. But you can also buy the Ethiopian Bible, which will give you a more panoramic view of what the Torah or even that first history of Israel is about. Not only does it cover from the first book, even the book of Enoch, which was carried over the flood, it carries them after the flood, which was the book of Jubilees and the book of Jasher. Yes. And then it goes into what they call the 400 years of darkness, which is not darkness. It was just the part where Greeks have really infiltrated everything. Yes, that's what it happened. You had Tobit, you had all the other books, and they all have some significance in how we should carry ourselves and how God reacted to the sons of men upon this earth because of their deceptiveness, being deceived, the spirits who have swayed the thoughts and minds of men's hearts. Now, he says now, and the Hebronites, the chief among, in 31, verse 31, Jarijah, the chief, even among the Hebronites, according to the generations of his father, in the 40th year of the reign of David, they were sought for. And there were found among them mighty men of valor at Jazer Gilead. It's just like, living in the South, I see some southern young men seem like they're just as big, and they're the football teams. I mean, these are young men like 16 up to 18. Big, strong men, and their high school just dominates in the practice of football. But nevertheless, and you would always look for that type of standard of a young man in that area to where the schools are. You say, what are their parents feeding them? Great football players, though. But anyway, and his brethren men of valor were 2,700 chief fathers, whom King David made ruler over the Reubenites and Gadites and half tribe of Manasseh for every matter pertaining to God and affairs of the king. Order. Order is being wrought in Israel. Order, a permanent order. So as we think, until the great fall, until during the time when Solomon tells Jeroboam, you got to go. Then his son comes, Rehoboam, and then we have a great fall of the children of Israel. Yes, we do. But if we keep those things that are right, that are commandments, laws, and statutes of the Most High, we will have peace.
Walk with me.